Good morning and welcome to Ascending the Tepeyac. This day we are going to be focusing on the homilies and the message that we heard in the Gospel last Sunday about the Transfiguration. The Transfiguration, which is an encounter with Jesus, but then what happened after the encounter? That's what we are going to be focusing on, because after an encounter with Christ, we come down into the world and we come to bring him over to the rest of the people. It is a life-changing experience, but we have to come down the mountain and continue our journey. So let us begin. Well, my brothers and sisters, we had a Sunday that was focusing on the Transfiguration, and it sounds kind of strange because we are in the Lenten season. In Lent, we are supposed to be focusing on penance, focusing on conversion, and suddenly we hear about Jesus transfiguring at the mount. And we say, what happened there? Why is this in the beginning of the Lent season? Well, what happened is Jesus is giving us a taste of what we are going to be living. Because remember on Ash Wednesday, we went to the church and the priest or the minister put a cross on our forehead. And that cross, it's kind of guiding our way. We put it on the forehead because we are focusing ourselves on going to that cross, which is going to be in front of us on Good Friday, at the day when we commemorate the death of our Lord Jesus Christ. And keeping this cross in our forehead, we are walking in life towards that destination. But just remember something. Good Friday is not the end. Good Friday, it's part of the Triduum, because we are going to go there to a Good Friday, but then we go to Resurrection Day. Yes, Resurrection Day. It's important that we realize that, my brothers and sisters, because resurrection is what this all Lenten season is all about. That we die with Christ and then we rise with him. We die to our sins, to our defects, to our shortcomings, to everything we are carrying that we're not proud of. And then on Easter Day, we celebrate with Jesus that we are new people. We are new men, new women. Now, the Transfiguration gives us a taste of that. Because Jesus went up the mountain, taking 3 of his apostles with him, Peter, John, and James. They were there with him, and they were excited when suddenly Jesus is transfigured. His clothes were white, and there was a light inside of him. And this is important to know, my brothers and sisters, that when we are in the presence of God, God is the eternal light. So when we are with Christ, when we are with God, the light of God is so powerful. And we also will take a share of that light. Adam and Eve, when they were in paradise, they were meeting with God, and they were embraced by that eternal light. But when they sinned, the light went off. We already have talked about this before. It is important to realize that the light of God is with us. And we are supposed to be light to the world. That's what we were saying on the gospel before Lenten season. To be light of the world and salt of the earth. And as we are light of the world, we are supposed to be illuminating all around. Because the purpose of light is not to shine just for the sake of shining. The purpose of light is to illumine everything that is there. Can you imagine without light? Just think about at night, when there are no stars and no moon, and the night is dark, and you are trying to walk around, you don't see the beauty that we see during the day. In the day, we see the beautiful colors of the trees, of the flowers, of the grass, of the constructions, the people, all around us. Everything has color, it's beautiful. And why can we see it? Because of the light. So during the transfiguration, Jesus became like a being of light. But next to him there were two people, Moses and Elijah. Moses also had that taste of transfiguration when he went up the mount, the Sinai. When he went up there, he came back with the tablets of the law, and his face was shining. So Moses is the one who brought the law. And what is the law? The Ten Commandments. On the other side of Jesus, we're going to find Elijah. Elijah was a prophet that was talking to the people of Israel, but he did not die. He was taken up to heaven in a chariot of fire. So we don't have a place where Elijah is buried because he was taken up to heaven. And that's why some people, when they ask who Jesus was, some people said, oh, he might be Elijah. Because Elijah is the only prophet. We don't know where he's buried because there's no place for his burial. So Jesus is there transfigured with Moses on one side and Elijah on the other. And Jesus told us, I did not come to abolish the law, but take it to fulfillment. One side it's the law, and the other is the prophets. And Jesus told us that he did not come to abolish them. So what is the law telling us? What we shall be doing. And what are the prophets telling us? They are telling us the message of God. And the message of God is very simple. Love. Love one another. So Jesus came to bring to fulfillment the law, which is Moses, and the prophets, which is Elijah. He brought it to fulfillment. How? Loving. And that moment was so magic, so marvelous, that Peter wanted to stay there. Peter said, Lord, can we make three cottages here? Can we play 3 places? And one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. And when he just finished speaking, God the Father corrected him. And God the Father said, this is my beloved Son. Just think about this. When Moses was talking to God, Moses' brother and sisters wanted to talk to God too. And one time, God called them to the tent of encounter, to Miriam and Aaron. They went to the tent of encounter, and when they went there, God told them, I talk to you in dreams, but Moses is my friend. I talk to him face to face. That's a beautiful story that we can find in the book of Numbers. Beautiful. And when we think about that, God is saying, Moses is my friend. But when Peter said, let's make 3 tents, the same for you, Elijah, and Moses, God the Father said, no, this is my beloved Son. Don't get it wrong. The 3 of them are important. Moses is my friend. Elijah is my prophet. But Jesus is my Son. That voice came as a revelation for them. A voice coming from heaven to let them know that Jesus is the Son of God. In that moment, they got scared because the manifestation of God was coming at night with thunders, but in the day, it was a cloud that was creating a shadow. And that was the presence of God. They felt that presence of God. And when they felt the presence, they were overwhelmed. So they went face down to the ground, scared of being in the presence of God. although they have been with Jesus for all this time. So Jesus goes to them and tells them, do not be afraid. And that word, do not be afraid. Those are words that we are continually hearing from Jesus to us. Do not be afraid. Because we are calling ourselves Christians, but sometimes we don't do what Christians should be doing. We have become a multitude of Christians without Christ. Let me define it. A Christian without Christ is somebody who's doing just the superficial part of it, but is not living it within. I can be a Christian who prays a lot. I can be a Christian who participates in several liturgies. I can be a Christian who knows the Bible from beginning to end. But if I don't move a finger to help my brothers and sisters in need, if I don't give food to the one who is hungry, if I don't give water to the one who is thirsty, if I don't welcome the migrant, if I don't visit the ones who are sick or that are in prison, then what am I doing? I am becoming a Christian without Christ. And the Transfiguration is a moment when Jesus is showing us where we are going to. Because one day we will die, but if we die with Christ, we rise with Him to eternal glory, the eternity. Because that's why so importantly, the second reading from St. Paul's letter tells us very clearly something very important. Jesus came to bring the light of life and immortality. Two concepts very important: life and immortality. Life when we are in this world, and immortality when we go to the presence of God. So He's bringing light to our lives, but we are also called to do that, to bring light to our communities, to our groups, to our families. That's the invitation. And when are we going to do that? After the encounter with Christ. We have the encounter with Christ on the top of the mountain. That top of the mountain might be a retreat. That top of the mountain can be an ultreia. That could be a congress, a conference, I don't know. Can be so many different things. You go, you experience it, you have the encounter with Christ, and you come out of there kind of shining because you feel that you have the light of Christ. And you are so excited. And what is next? You know, I tell the people who go to retreats, I tell them, I'm so excited about you because I see you, how you feel, how you are. But on Monday, on Sunday night, when you go back to the world is waiting for you. And the world has not changed, but you have. That's important. Because we have a transformation. Every time we have an encounter with Christ, we transform ourselves. We change ourselves. We convert from something into another thing that is better. We can also convert to something worse, definitely, yes. But we're talking Lenten season is a time to convert in something better. Maybe I get upset when I drive. Maybe I speak too loud. Maybe I have no patience with my family. Maybe I'm a rough driver. You know what? This Lenten season is time to start planning and converting, having an encounter with Christ. And when I have that encounter with Christ, I cannot be the same. Just like the wise men, they went to Bethlehem and they found Jesus, and after having the encounter with Jesus, you cannot come the same way. You cannot come back the same way. You have to take a different route. because the encounter with Christ, it's a huge transformation within us that has to be noticeable and that has to have impact in our lives. If you go to a retreat and after the retreat, you start going to Mass every Sunday, people are going to be excited about you, but what else? Because if you go to Mass, after a while you start getting tired and then you go back to your old self. The transformation requires us to make changes, to make a change in our lives, to make a willingful, deliberate decision of who I want to be. That's very important. It's not an accident, my brothers and sisters. Jesus is telling us, do not be afraid. Because as we venture into the world, we are going to have a lot of challenges. People are going to be listening to us and looking at us and say, this guy is not going to do. When I was ordained, almost 18 years ago, I'll be celebrating 18 years as a deacon this year. It's going to be exciting, right? When I was ordained, I invited my family. I have 3 brothers and 3 sisters. I invited them all to come to my ordination. Only 1 brother and 2 sisters came. Only. And why? Because they thought that it was important. They realized. The other brothers and sisters, they were thinking, this is something that will pass. After some months, probably, he's going to be the same güero corajudo. They thought that my ordination was something that will not last. And I love them. They are my brothers and sisters. Yes, I love them. But they had no faith in me because they thought that the person they knew will not be able to change. And after some time, I can tell you, I have changed. I realize that. I notice in my life. I notice it in everything I do. Because after an encounter with Christ, you cannot be the same person. You cannot be. So, we invite you, my brothers and sisters, to have that encounter. Where can I encounter Christ? You can tell me. Well, if there are some Lenten missions in your parish, go for it. If there's going to be retreats, go for it. If you want to go to a holy hour, go for it. Because those are moments to have an encounter. Last Saturday, they invited me to do a holy hour for some teens that were having a retreat. And I went there, and I was so excited the following day that one of the teens told their parents that they had an encounter with Christ. So it was well worth it because all these experiences, God is there waiting for you to go. He's not just there expecting you to do everything. He just wants you to be willing. If you want, He will be there with you. It's a matter of wanting. And you go to a holy hour and you put all your faith and He's going to touch you. And after that, you cannot go back home the same, definitely. That's going back home is what we call coming down the mountain. Because we are in an encounter with Christ and we are high. And from there, there's no higher place to go but to be in the presence of God. So guess what? Next steps, going down. But we are coming down into the world to bring Jesus. We are coming into the world so they can hear about our experience. We come back to share with them the joy and happiness we have. And they look at you and say, what happened? Because you look different. And that's what coming down the mountain means. It means that we come down into the world again, the same problems waiting for us, the same mother-in-law, the same spouse, but we are changed. And because we are changed, we treat those opportunities in a different manner. Now we are more loving. Now we are more wise. Now we are more careful in the way we do things. And they are going to look at us and realize something happened. Coming down the mountains, my brothers and sisters, is to give testimony of an encounter with Christ. That's what it means. And people are going to test you, because we are very good at that. They're going to say, you went to a retreat, so you came back. Oh, yeah, we'll see. So I need you to do all this for me because you are so good that you can do all this. And they try to test you, to test your patience, to test your faith, to test your wisdom. But guess what? Jesus is with you. Why? Because when we listen to him, we are listening the voice of God. What did God say? This is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased. Listen to him. So the key, my brothers and sisters, listen to Jesus. And when we listen to him, we are going towards the encounter with him that will transform our lives. And then we go into the world to help the transformation of other lives. I wish I could have known God earlier in my life. But you know what? I found him in the right time, at the right moment. I just discovered that because God is there. And sometimes we don't know about the joy of loving others. And when you love other people, you are with God because God is love. There was a little girl. She was about 9 years old. And they discovered that she had a blood illness and she will not be able to survive. They had to give her a lot of blood because her blood was so contaminated. And they were looking for donors, but she had a special blood. After struggling and searching, they couldn't find donors. They tested his youngest brother. He was about 7 years old. And the boy had the same blood as his sister. So the doctors told the parents, you know, your son has the type of blood that we need. And this could save your daughter's life. The parents, they felt overwhelmed because they didn't want any harm to their boy. But the girl needed blood. So they told the doctor, let's ask him. And they asked the kid. Said, you know, your sister is very ill and she needs of your blood. But it will hurt you. But that could save your sister's life. The kid looked at the parents and he saw their pain, and they didn't want to influencing him because they were both their children. So they let him to make the decision. And the boy thought about it and said, okay, I will do. So they take both to the hospital. The girl was very, very ill. And they put some hoses on their arms. And as they started the transfusion of blood from the kid to his sister, they could immediately see that her pale face started getting pinkish. They noticed that the blood was making a big difference in her. So when they saw that, the parents were crying. They were so excited, and they say, look at her. The blood is doing the work now. She's getting better. And the little kid looked at the doctor and he asked, "Doctor, when am I going to die?" The kid thought that he was giving away all his blood. He didn't realize that they needed just some of it. But he was willing to give his life for his sister. That is love. Definitely, that is love. To give your life to the ones you love. There's no greater sacrifice than that. There's no greater love than that. And the Transfiguration, my brothers and sisters, invite us to do that. To love until it hurts. That's what Mother Teresa used to say. Love until it hurts. Because loving sometimes is going to create pain on us. How is this? Well, let me tell you, I've been married for many years now, and I can assure you definitely, that when you love, you suffer. And why? Because that person that you love so much, when that person is under any pain, you suffer for their pain. Then you have children, and when your children get sick, you feel that pain. When they're growing and they're having struggles and challenges in their lives, you have pain with them. Because when we love, it's going to hurt. Because loving is not only in the good moments, it's also in the difficult moments. Loving is not only when things go fine, but also when things go wrong. So, in this journey of life, we have to realize that we are preparing in this Lenten season for a Good Friday that's going to be sad, it's going to be painful, it's going to be full of sorrow. But the next day is going to be a glorious Saturday. A Saturday where we remember that Jesus defeated death, that Jesus rose from the dead. And that's what is important, my brothers and sisters. And if you rise with Christ, then you are to invite the rest of the people to do the same. Because then we can go into the world and invite them all to do as much as we have done, to allow ourselves to be loved by God. That's simple. Well, my brothers and sisters, that's pretty much the time that we have for today. So we have a very busy week here at Tepeyac. And also, we are getting ready for ministries. We are going to be starting ministries very soon. And if you have completed your Christian formation, then it's time to check what ministries we are going to be teaching. And also for renewals, we have renewal classes. And all this is happening in the next days. March is the month for ministry preparation. And then we have again ministry preparation in May. So the installation is going to be on June 17th. And so we still have time. Usually we used to have installations early in May, but now we have moved it to June because we want to make sure that we have the more people completing their ministry formation before we do the installation. So the installation is going to be June 17th. So if you have interest in some of the classes, please register online. The classes you can find them there in the site www.tepeyacinstitute.com. Or you can visit our Facebook, and over there, there's a link to our website where you can go and find us about what we do. So I'm so happy that you're here with us, and we will continue monitoring this program. I'm excited, and I invite you to share it. share it with your friends. If you heard something that moves you, something important that you would like to share with your family, share this program with them. We want to spread it all around because we know there are some people who like Tepeyac Institute. They are the ones that are getting this program, but there may be other people who need to hear something like this. So if you have friends, share it with your friends. Share this program, and from there we will try to invite them to like the Tepeyac, and then they will be getting updates on every time we are live streaming this program. So hopefully you can continue joining us here on Tuesdays at 10:30 in the morning. The Lord be with you. May the blessing of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit descend upon you and remain with you forever. Amen. God bless you.